64 national teams, 11 new gen countries, the place where football is the hottest in the world, with the best youngsters battling for the glory of lifting the ultimate prize. I simulated the entire Blue Lock U-20 World Cup from the shocking group stage upsets to brutal knockout stages. Countless dreams will clash, but only one can conquer them all. Who rose to the top? Who crumbled under pressure? Who became a legend and wrote history in this tournament? This video will answer all these questions, so stick around to find out. Before we begin, we briefly need to go over the rules and formats of this tournament. We have 64 participating countries, which will be divided into 16 groups, meaning there's 4 teams in each group stage. The group stage will be a round robin, meaning each team faces another team in their groups once. After each team plays all their games, the top 2 teams move on to the next stage of the tournament, while the bottom 2 teams are eliminated. From there on out, for all the surviving nations, it's win or go home. One by one, dreams are crushed until a single champion remains. Also on the screen right now are the names and positions I've created for the new Gen 11 players, since we don't know who they are yet. We also have some big news, as Hitoshi Sai has decided that he will join Japan if they get out of the group stages. With that, let the tournament begin. The group stages have just been formed, and we have some really bad news. Japan has just been put into the group of death with Nigeria, England, and France. This means that in order for Japan to get through to the knockout stages, they must beat 2 new Gen 11 countries, as well as Nigeria, which is a pretty solid team as well. Match day 1 has just finished, and our Blue Lock boys faced off Nigeria. Our Blue Lockers had shaky nerves in the first couple minutes of the kickoff, which caused them to concede a goal early on. However, when our boys actually settled into the game, they came back, absolutely destroying Nigeria 5-1. This introduced the entire world to the new Japan. Bachira opened up his goal in the 23rd minute, hyping up the entire team whose morale was down after conceding. Baro, Shido, Rin, then Isagi followed after. Our man of the match was Bachira, bagging both a goal and 2 assists and being a crucial part of the entire match. On the other side of the group, we have France beating out England 2-0, with Loki scoring an amazing goal and taking home the match ball. In our other groups, we also had some outstanding performances. Spain of Group 3 absolutely thrashes Switzerland 3-0, with Bunny Iglesias showing his dominance, scoring the first hat-trick of the tournament. Germany showed their power, beating Scotland 3-0 as well, with Kaiser scoring a brace to send them to their first 3 points. Brazil and Senegal were at a stalemate, drawing 2-2 in Group 5. Same with the United States and Croatia in Group 6, and Egypt and Australia in Group 15. Morocco, China, and Italy all win their games in their respective groups as well. Now let's move on to match day 2. One of the biggest clashes of this round saw Japan take on England, led by their new Gen 11 star midfielder Liam Walker, with Isagi spearheading the attack. From the first whistle, it was a battle of wills. Liam Walker absolutely ran the midfield in the first half, dictating the tempo and making Japan fight for every inch. But Japan held firm. That is until Liam unleashed a laser-precise long ball, one that only Agi Insane's leaping ability could meet. Out of nowhere, Agi rose above everyone, smashing in the opener just before the break. The game resumed in the second half, and it was pure chaos. Rin stepped up and drew Japan level with a clinical finishing, reigniting hope. But Agi wasn't done. This time, he crafted a super goal on his own, something totally new, a move that left defenders frozen. It felt like Agi had been saving this for the world stage, finally silencing the haters and shaking off the fraud watch label. With Japan on the ropes at 2-1 down, Ego decided to make a substitution, subbing Ryo on for Hiyori. And that's when everything changed. Ryo became the engine that Japan was missing, the missing piece to the puzzle, blending defense and attack with brilliance. His all-round ability and sharp thinking flipped the entire momentum of the game. Liam Walker became completely neutralized as Ryo took over the midfield like it was his domain. Then came the moment of magic. Ryo copied Charles' sky arch pass, sending a perfect ball onto Baro's boot. Baro takes the opportunity without hesitation and scores the equalizer. But Ryo wasn't finished. Channeling Nagi's trapping and shooting, he bagged one himself to seal the deal. Final whistle blows, and the final score is Japan 3, England 2, and a comeback for the ages with Ryo crowned man of the match. On the other side of the group stage, France beat Nigeria 3-1, and surprisingly, they were so confident that Loki sat out the entire game, with France's new Gen 11 left back Adrien Dubois leading them. Both Charles and Adrien Dubois bagged assists for France, leading to their victory. As for our other new Gen 11 teams, they all ended up winning their games in their respective group stages, besides China, who had a goalless draw to Denmark. Surprisingly, none of these new Gen 11 games were the highlight of this group stage matches. The actual highlight was between Senegal and Czech Republic, with Senegal obliterating Czech Republic 5-1. The team's main goal scorer was Senegal's strong striker Samba Mane, who bagged 2 goals, winning himself the man of the match. Match day 3 arrived and tension filled the air. For many countries, this was do or die, but for Japan and France, who had already secured a spot in the round of 32, this match was about pride. Could Blue Lock show the world they could beat the tournament's favorites? Japan made a big change with Zantetsu starting at fullback to handle Loki lightning speed on the wing. The match kicked off, the crowd was electric, the hype was real, and both sides felt the weight of expectation. Early on, Charles set up Loki with a perfect ball into space. Loki was ready, but Zantetsu's acceleration shut him down completely. He stole the ball and inspired a counter. Ryo, Hiyori, and Karasu worked together, passing quickly in a triangle. The ball reaches Isagi, he shoots, but Charles and Dubois blocks it. This set the tone for the majority of the match with non-stop end-to-end football. Both sides fought hard, but no one could break through, and the first half ended 0-0. The second half started and the pace stayed intense. By the 70th minute, tired legs were everywhere. Shigeri and Zantetsu ran themselves to the ground after switching between defense and attack all match. They had been crucial in stopping France's dangerous attack. Igo decided to make two substitutions, with Otoya coming on for Zantetsu and Hiyori for Shigeri. The subs actually worked, as Hiyori's metavision kept Loki at bay and Otoya's off-the-ball movement cracked Dubois' playstyle. Dubois was known for his great vision and ability to see and predict players, but he couldn't read Otoya at all. In the 74th minute, Otoya overlapped Rin, received the pass and blew past Dubois. He crossed and Isagi, quiet until now, was waiting. His trademark direct shot exploded into the top corner and Japan had broken the goal drought. The stadium was stunned. Even Loki couldn't believe it. After that, Japan started to dominate. Bachira, Ryo, and Karasu controlled the midfield, shutting down Charles, not allowing him to have more than 2 seconds on the ball. Charles was isolated. Loki and Dubois were doing all the work while Charles faded, but under the pressure of failure, Charles snapped. In the 90th minute, with 5 minutes of extra time announced, Charles finally locked in. Like Bachira in that 5v5 match in the second selection, he decided it was time to cook. He ignored the calls to pass and charged forward with pure hunger in his eyes. He megged Bachira, then combined with Loki, and together they tore through Japan's midfield with tiki-taka passes. Aiku and Nico were ready, metavision sharp. Otoya and Hiroi kept Loki in check so that he wouldn't run to the wing. But then Dubois joined the attack, making it a trio. He got past Otoya, received the ball from Charles, and crossed. Charles, with his back to Nico, pulled off a brilliant curving back heel. It went through Nico's legs and 2 more players who were in the box. It looked like it would go out of bounds, but Loki appeared like lightning. He smashed the volley into the net, equalizing the score 1-1. 3 minutes left and Charles was on fire now. Kickoff restarted. Japan was shook. Isagi passed to Barrow, who drove up his right wing against Dubois. Barrow fought hard but could not get past Dubois, and he wasn't willing to pass to anyone. Dubois intercepted Barrow's play, but before he could fully get control of the ball, Isagi pounces, knowing that Barrow would have lost the ball. He cuts inside, but Loki steps up to face him. Isagi passes to Bachira, but Charles was patiently waiting for Bachira's move. The two clashed like masters from the NEL. Bachira finally slipped through with a revenge nutmeg. The chance was there. Everyone was up for the attack, and Bachira, using his vision, fed Rin on the flank. Rin glided past defender after defender. The goal was in sight. He shot, but the keeper punched it away. The ball fell to Barrow, who shot but was blocked by Charles and Dubois. The ball soared into the sky one more, and surely it had finally grasped into the victor's leg. Isagi, similar to his goal in the Japan U-20 versus Blue Lock match, took position in his direct shot stance and fired a rocket to the left of the goal. No U-20 or even professional goalkeeper was ever going to save a ball of that speed. But luckily for France, the football gods were favoring them, as the ball swerved a little too much to the left as the crossbar kept the ball in play. The ball this time cruelly dropped at Loki's feet. Loki didn't hesitate and countered at full speed. Ryo, Karasu, Nico, and Aiku all left behind. Only Gagamaru stood in his way. Loki shot with everything he had, but Gagamaru, thanks to his baseball-style reflexes from his pre-NEL training arc, made a spectacular save, sending the ball outside for a corner kick for France. It is the 95th minute and last play. Dubois was the corner kick taker, and everyone was in the box, even France's goalkeeper. Dubois took the kick, hitting a mean curve on the ball, and the one who rose to the rhythm of the pass was none other than Charles Chevalier. The box was packed with players, and Charles could not see a space, opening, or even a crevice that he could pass the ball through. This was until Barrow charged in to stop Charles. Charles played into Barrow's leg, went down, and drew the foul. Aiku cleared the ball out of bounds to end the game, but the ref blew his whistle and pointed to the spot. The Blue Lock boys, the spectators on both teams, and even commentators were in shock at this decision. The ref checked VAR. Penalty confirmed. Charles had sold it perfectly. Loki stepped up. One last kick. He blasted it into the top corner, and Gagamaru reached and reached until he couldn't anymore, as the ball finally came into contact with the net, caressing it. The final whistle blew. France 2, Japan 1. A brutal loss for Blue Lock decided by a controversial penalty. The other final group stage matches comes to an end, and the results are as follows. In Group 1, with the defeat to France, Japan falls to second with France topping the group stage. In Group 2, Italy dominated their group, not losing once, with Mali coming second. In Group 3, Spain drew their last match, with Bunny sitting out for the entire game as they had already qualified. Switzerland beat Poland 4-3 to also seal a spot in the next stages. In Group 4, Kaiser leads Germany to a clean sweep, scoring a brace against Saudi Arabia. So far in the tournament, Germany is one of the 2 teams that have not conceded a goal yet. Group 5's match day 3 was a do or die, with Brazil and Senegal having 4 points while Ireland had 3. In the end, Brazil comes out on top with 7 points. Senegal draws to Ireland but secures a knockout stage spot as well. USA's group was another close one, but the USA and Croatia came out on top. Group 7's Morocco was the other team that didn't concede for the entire tournament, having clean sheets in every game. Ukraine also made it through in that group. In Group 8, Peru and Ecuador make it through, with Peru dominating the group. In Group 9, China's new Gen 11 defender Chen Hao showed his defensive excellence, with them only conceding 1 goal for the entire group stage. Denmark also qualifies. Argentina and Hungary qualifies from Group 10. Mexico and Sweden from Group 11. Belgium and Norway from Group 12. Portugal and Wales from Group 13, Russia and South Korea from Group 14, Egypt and Australia from Group 15, and in Group 16, Netherlands and Algeria qualify. Before we move on to the knockout stages, these are the mid-tournament stats. In our top scorer spot at the moment, we have Bunny Iglesias, scoring 4 goals in 2 matches, which is absolutely mind-blowing. A big contributor was the hat-trick that he scored in one of his games. Joined for second and forming the rest of the top 5, we have Loki, Kaiser, Samba Mane and Agi, all with 3 goals. For our top 5 players with the most assists, we have Ness topping the list with 3 assists. Then joint for second, we have Charles, Gabriel Silva, Liam Walker, Yassin El Amrani, and Bachira with all 2 assists. Now moving on to the round of 32. I decided that instead of taking the systematic approach where the second place team from one group stage goes against the first place team from another group stage, I decided to spice things up. I chose to go ahead with the Champions League system, where the knockout stage matchups are randomly drawn. With this, we go to the knockout stage drawing ceremony, and these are the exciting matchups. For the left side of the bracket, we have Japan versus Portugal, China versus Algeria, Germany versus Mexico, Ukraine versus Croatia, Belgium versus Denmark, South Korea versus Norway, Wales versus the United States, and France versus Morocco. And on our right side of the bracket, we have Hungary versus Ecuador, Australia versus Spain, Senegal versus Egypt, Peru versus Sweden, Mali versus Argentina, Russia versus Switzerland, Serbia versus Netherlands, and Brazil versus Italy. Press conference day has just wrapped up and we got some massive news. Eagle confirmed that Itoshi Sai will start for Japan in the round of 32 showdown against Portugal. The anticipation couldn't be higher. All eyes are now on game day, with the nation placing its hopes on Sai's brilliance as Japan prepares to battle another European giant. The tension was electric as Japan stepped onto the pitch, still burning from the controversial group stage loss to France, a game many fans called a robbery. The sting of injustice fueled the players, and at the center of it all stood Itoshi Sai, making his long-awaited debut for the U-20 World Cup. Across from them, Portugal's confident squad, led by the electric winger Marco Silva, was ready to cause havoc. From the first whistle, it was clear Japan wasn't here to be a victim again. They played with purpose, sharp and hungry. In the 17th minute, Sai announced his arrival. Picking up the ball deep in midfield, he sliced through Portugal's press with a breathtaking pass, threading the needle for Shido. Shido's first touch was ruthless and his second unstoppable as it was blasted into the top bins. The crowd erupted. The score was 1-0 in favor of Japan, and the haunting ghosts of France were gone for now. Portugal wouldn't fold that easily though. Just before halftime in the 41st minute, Marco Silva found space on the right. With a quick feint and burst of pace, he cut inside and whipped a brilliant shot into the far corner. Gagamaru stretched but couldn't reach it. The score was equalized and the game was on a knife's edge. First half came to an end, and after the break, Japan's determination only grew stronger. In the 58th minute, Sai worked his magic again. Under pressure, he flicked a clever pass through to Rin, splitting the defense. Rin stayed ice cold, not trying to take note of the magical assist that he just received from his brother that he was beefing with, and buried it low past the keeper. 2-1 to Japan. Portugal pushed forward in desperation, but Japan's defense, led by IQ's metavision and reaction, and Ariu's aerial dominance, held firm. Finally, the dagger that ended it all came. In the 84th minute, Isagi intercepts a Portuguese player, gaining control of the ball and sending a through ball to Shigiri, who exploded down the left wing, blazing past defenders and sealing a spot in the round of 16 with his trademark 44 Panther snap. As the final whistle blew, Sai stood tall. 2 assists assist, man of the match, and Japan's redemption march to victory alive and kicking. These are the results for the other knockout stage matches. On the left side of the table, China beats Algeria 1-0 with another masterclass by the new Gen 11 centre-back, Shen Hao. Germany outclasses Mexico 4-2 with Kaiser scoring a brace and Grimm scoring a single as well. Croatia beats out Ukraine 2-1, while Belgium's promising offensive midfielder Jasper De Bruyne leads them to a 2-0 victory against Denmark. South Korea beats Norway 3-1 as well. The United States' new Gen 11 goalkeeper Tyler Brooks pulled off a masterclass performance, as although Wales dominated the game with multiple shots on target, none were able to get past Brooks, allowing the USA to win 1-0. France and Morocco go at it as the last matchup on the left side of the bracket. Morocco's right back Yassin El Amrani, with pace as his main weapon, gave Loki a run for his money, shutting him down many times in the game. But this was still not enough, as France pulled through with Loki and Charles scoring to make the score 2-1. Charles bags his first man of the match for the tournament. The right side of the table saw even more drama and upsets. Ecuador beats out Hungary 2-1. Bunny Iglesias hits another masterclass performance again, scoring a brace for Spain in their 3-0 victory against Australia. We have our first major upset with the new Gen 11 country Egypt going down to Senegal 1-0. Senegal has been on a hot streak so far in this tournament, and many people are starting to call them the dark horses. Sweden beats Peru 2-1. Argentina destroys Mali 4-0, while Russia scrapped by a win against Switzerland. Netherlands had a close call against Serbia, beating them 3-2. And for the final matchup, we had Brazil versus Italy. Italy's new Gen 11 centre-back Lorenzo was locked in as he was going up against Brazil's new Gen 11 left winger Gabriel Silva, one of the highest value youngsters in the entire world right now. Italy scored first, but Gabriel showed his excellence, bagging a goal and assisting his twin brother, who is a midfielder, Miguel Silva. Italy is unfortunately eliminated. This comes to the end of our round of 32, and we now have only 7 new Gen 11 teams participating in the next round, which will be the round of 16. Coming up in the round of 16, on the left side of the bracket, we have Japan versus China, Germany versus Croatia, Belgium versus South Korea, and USA versus France. On the right side of the bracket, we have Ecuador versus Spain, Senegal versus Sweden, Argentina versus Russia, and Netherlands versus Brazil. With that, let's go on our way to Japan versus China, the ultimate rivalry that goes beyond just football. This was the game that would test Japan's resolve. After the heartbreak against France in the group stage, a loss that fans still call a robbery, Japan came roaring back with that massive 3-1 victory over Portugal. Their spirits were high and confidence restored, but standing in their way now was China, the brick wall of the tournament. A team that had turned defense into science. At the heart of China's defense was Shen Hao, their new Gen 11 defender, a name on every big club scout list like Real and Bayern Munich, and tonight he showed exactly why he was worth so much. From the opening whistle, China set the tone. They didn't just defend, they absolutely suffocated. It was almost like they had 22 guys on their team instead of 11. Every time Japan tried to thread a ball through, they had already walked straight into their trap. Isagi thought he had done it, breaking 3, pulling 1 past the goalkeeper, but absolutely not. The flag went up for offside. China's tactical vision was to let Japan tire themselves out and punish them on the counter-attack. And it actually nearly worked. Every minute that passed, frustration grew. Japan's passes got sharper, their runs more desperate, but Shen Hao and his backline were like a machine. Every offside trap was executed seamlessly with spot-on timing and tight defensive shape. This match was not only about tactics though, it was about redemption for a specific person. That person was sharpening his claws, getting ready to devour. This was none other than Barrow. The same Barrow who had given away that controversial penalty in stoppage time against France. The same Barrow who fans started to doubt. When Ego started him tonight, people questioned it. But Barrow was ready to answer. It was a goalless statement for 90 minutes straight, and extra time was on the way. The first half of extra time goes by and nothing happens. Second half of extra time in the 112th minute, it felt like penalties were coming. China was holding down the fort against Japan, but then Barrow seizes his moment with a loose ball at midfield. He charges on, shrugging off one defender then another. Shen Hao stepped in, but Barrow wasn't stopping. With pure power and will, he muscled past the star defender, broke the line and slammed the ball low into the corner. Barrow celebrated, flinging his shirt off, silencing doubters and haters. As the final whistle echoed, Barrow stood tall as the hero of the night, as Japan had fought through the storm. China's defense was brilliant, but in the end, it was Barrow's hunger that decided it all. With that, Japan marches on to the quarterfinals. The other quarterfinal matches have just finished and these are the results. Belgium beats out South Korea 1-0, another masterclass performance by Jasper De Bruyne. France destroys the United States 4-1. Loki and Adrien Dubois both score 1 with Charles having 1 assist. And for the final game on the left side of the table, Germany continues to show dominance with another convincing win over Croatia 3-0. Just a reminder that Germany has only been scored on twice in this tournament so far, and that's by Mexico. This is just small news compared to what I'm about to say next. With Germany beating Croatia, that means in the quarterfinals we're about to have one of the craziest matches we've seen yet. Japan versus Germany. On the right side of the bracket, Argentina beats Russia 2-1. Brazil continues to show that they are a force to be reckoned with a 4-0 win over Netherlands. Gabriel Silva, Brazil's new Gen 11 left winger, takes away the match ball, not scoring any goals but giving 2 assists with his brother Miguel contributing to the other 2 assists. This duo was a major threat to Netherlands for the entire game. Senegal also continues their winning streak, beating Sweden 3-2. Samba Mane once again leads them to the quarterfinals, scoring a last-minute goal in the dire minutes of extra time. To no one's surprise, Spain also gets through to the quarterfinals, beating Ecuador 3-1. Surprisingly, Bunny Iglesias didn't perform too well in this match, not scoring or contributing majorly to the game. With that being said, we finally have gotten to the final 8. I want you all to take a guess on who you think will win the entire thing. Make sure to lock in those guesses and write them down in the comment section down below. With that, let's announce the next matchups. For the quarterfinals, these are the matchups: Japan versus Germany, France versus Belgium, Senegal versus Spain, and Brazil versus Argentina. These quarterfinal matches up to the final will be covered in our next video, so make sure to subscribe for part 2. With that, I'll see you all in the next